What's going on, everybody? It's your boy JP, back with another video. And today, I have the all-new Moto Z4. And, there's this device has had a lot of positive reviews with a lot of negative comments. And I'm here to clarify a few things, if you will. First off, let's run through the specs real quick. Snapdragon 675, 4 gigs of RAM, 48 megapixel rear camera, the same Sony IMX flagship. I think it's the 586. It's the same lens that the Red Magic 3 uses that I'm using to record this. The new Zenfone 6, OnePlus 7 and 7 Pro. The Xiaomi Mi 9. The Redmi K20 and K20 Pro. The list goes on. Extremely popular camera lens. Does a fantastic job. And the camera on the Moto Z4 has actually gotten very, very good reviews. The Zenfone 6 has gotten fantastic selfie reviews, and of course that's because of the flip camera. It's essentially using your rear camera as the selfie camera, so makes sense that it would get very high scores there. The Moto Z4 is a lot like the Nubia Red Magic 3 in terms of the rear sensor layout. It's just a single lens. It's just the 148 megapixel camera. The Red Magic 3 shares that as well. The price of this phone is $500. It does come with the $200 Moto 360 camera. So depending on how you look at that, you could say that the Moto Z4 was $300. But of course, that only makes sense if you really wanted the 360 camera. Me, they could have just knocked $100 off and I could have dealt without it personally. I would have been happy meeting them halfway. But nonetheless, really, for what you're getting, $500, it's a good deal. Jay Will recently did a video about the Moto Z4. Not a review. He hasn't gotten it yet. Not that I'm aware of anyway. And if he does have it, he hasn't done his video yet. But he did make a little short video talking about it. And I think he agreed with the price. Unless I heard him wrong. And he definitely speaks, some good words. So I would definitely listen to the man. Either way. But Moto Z4 has a lot going for it. Motorola has said that there won't be a Z4 Force. So the Z4 is the Moto Z of this year. Whether or not it's their flagship remains to be seen. There's talks of a new Razer foldable phone that's supposed to pack the Snapdragon 710 or 730, I think. As far as Motorola releasing a phone that's actually packing the Snapdragon 855 remains to be seen. Other lower name companies, they release devices a lot that's not necessarily the flagship Qualcomm, but it's their flagship phone. Brands like Blue, brands like New Mobile, etc. But you know what? I'm really here to tell you that this phone at $500 does not need the Snapdragon 855. I'm going to tell you why. First off, why should you choose this device over the $480 Red Magic 3 or the $500 Zenfone 6 when those pack the Snapdragon 855 for around the same price? Well, okay. Number one, Zenfone 6 is not an AMOLED screen. It's LCD. It's a damn nice LCD, super bright from what I've heard, like LG's G7. But it's still an LCD, not AMOLED. A lot of people want AMOLED now. It's kind of the talk of the town now, the OLEDs. The Moto Z4 right here is OLED. Okay? The Z's have always been. Even the Red Magic 3 is OLED. But the Red Magic 3 has its own caveats. It's a huge phone. It's an 18 by 9 instead of a 19 by 9, so there's no notch. So, and of course it is a gaming phone, so you kind of don't want those. You kind of want to have sides to grip too. But it does have top and bottom bezels. But as I said in the video for the Nubia Red Magic 3, Even the top and bottom ones are very minimalistic, and the sides are extremely thin. So, for having a 2-year-old design, the Red Magic 3 is very well designed. Has a very industrial design to it. Not rugged, though, but it's for the gaming aspect. But the Nubia Red Magic 3 has a couple of extreme caveats that some people may deem as deal breakers. One, expandable storage. Like the OnePlus 7 and 7 Pro, the Red Magic 3 does not have expandable storage. To me, that is a big deal because I do like expandable storage. I don't care that it makes the phone's benchmark a little lower. I like having expandable storage. It doesn't matter if my phone has 64 gigs of internal storage, 32 gigs, 128, 256, a terabyte, 512 gigs, whatever. I like expandable storage. It's easy for me to move my photos and other media around. That's why I don't need it. I don't need it for internal storage. I don't need it to expand the internal storage. I just need it as external storage, to easily move my media around. Another even bigger caveat, perhaps, for a lot of people, the Red Magic 3 lacks NFC. Yeah. And I don't think I mentioned that in my initial video for that phone. So, yeah, no NFC. Not so much of a big deal to me. I switch phones too much. And you have to reset up Google Pay all the time for different phones for your card, for security reasons. I get that. I understand that. The inconvenience is done by myself because I don't have multiple services. I get all these phones and I use my same service. I just swap my SIM card in and out. I have one service. That's it. And I get it. It's for security. I'm not against that whatsoever, but I just don't use mobile payments. It is what it is. But to a lot of people, NFC is going to be a deal breaker, the lack of. Moto Z5, the Moto Z4, none of those caveats exist. This has NFC. This has an OLED panel. It has expandable storage. It has Moto Mod compatibility still if you're invested in that ecosystem. Me, I still have my gamepad that I bought with the Moto Z2 a couple years back. I don't have it handy right now, but I still have it. And of course, another huge advantage is that this is compatible with the 5G Moto Mod. Of course, the disadvantage there is that the 5G Moto Mod is Verizon only right now. Whether or not an unlocked 5G Moto Mod will come out in the future for AT&T and perhaps T-Mobile or Sprint, that remains to be seen. But I have heard good things and I've seen great things with the Moto Z3 and the 5G Moto Mod. So I expect the same with the Z4. Now, let's move over to the big talk of the town here, the processor. A lot of people are giving this phone gripe for the $500 price point and the Snapdragon 675 versus the Red Magic 3 and the Zenfone 6, which have the 855. Let me clarify something really big that a lot of y'all may not even know unless you're in the technical terms, okay? The 675 won't score astronomically higher than the same than the 670 that's found in the new Pixel 3a and 3a XL. But the 675 is a huge generational leap over the 670. Okay? The Snapdragon 835, which the Z3 had, and the Snapdragon 845, which was in most of your flagships last year, besides being built on a 10nm process, they were also based on Qualcomm's Cairo 300 custom ARM technology. Not entirely sure about the Snapdragon 835, but last year's 845, basically what that means is that it was powered by the Cortex A75s. Okay, straight from ARM, before Qualcomm's customizations. Okay? Because the Cairo or Cryo, however you pronounce it, is just Qualcomm's customizations for the Cortex chipsets. The Snapdragon 670 found in the new Pixel 3a and 3a XLs that just came out a month ago, they're based on the third generation Cairo cores, that the 845 is based on from last year. Okay? The Snapdragon 675 is a much newer chipset, and it has more technology behind it. The graphics chip is a little weird. It's a 612 Adreno instead of a 615, but there's literally no difference to be found. It's also built on an odd 11 nanometer process, I think, instead of a 10 nanometer, like the 670 is, if I'm not mistaken. But it is based on the same Cairo 400 series technology that the Snapdragon 855 is based on. And up until the Snapdragon 730 and 730G were announced just a month or two ago, which hasn't been found in any retail device yet, the 675 was the only chipset besides the flagship 855 that features Cortex A76s from Qualcomm. Of course, the Kirin 980 is based on Cortex A76 ARM processors as well. But even Samsung's latest Exynos processor that's found in the international Galaxy S10 series is of Cortex A75, not Cortex A76. The fact that the Snapdragon 675 is powered by the Cortex A76 is a big deal. Okay? The custom cores of the Snapdragon 855, they're either Cairo 480 or Cairo 485. I can't remember. But the Snapdragon 675, the Cairo custom cores are the custom Cairo cores of the Snapdragon 675 are Cairo 460. 460, 480. The point is, it's the 400 series, the fourth generation of Qualcomm's custom ARM chipsets. So, for 64-bit, that is, for ARM V8 technology. So keep that in mind whenever you're judging the Snapdragon 675. By generational standards, this processor is ahead of the Snapdragon 845, okay, which is obviously ahead of the 835 that the Z3 had. It's not always about raw power. Literally the difference between the Snapdragon 675 and the 855, besides an obvious better production node, which is definitely in the 855's favor, is the fact that the 855 is clocked a lot higher. It's clocked at 2.8 gigs versus 2 gigs, okay? But even the graphics chip isn't that much better. Okay, I mean, there are Adreno 600 series. I mean, really, you're not going to notice it. 675 might not look like raw power on paper, but I assure you, it's going to get the job done. I have noticed no lag whatsoever in this phone. It has been fantastic. Fantastic. I mean, and it has everything going for it. It really does. It has facial recognition, which works really well. It works better than the Red Magic 3. I can't say rather than that it works better than the Zenfone 6. It works as good as the OnePlus 7 Pro. I will say that. Another really cool feature for this phone that's not talked about enough is it does have, ta-da, in-display fingerprint sensor. And it works extremely well. It has stockish Android, almost as stock as the Pixel 3a and 3a XL. It's going to be more stock than your Zenfone 6 and your Red Magic 3, which again, kudos to Asus and ZTE for going as close to stock as possible. But, this is Motorola we're talking about here. This does have the navigation gestures, but I don't care for them. I still like the buttons here, like Flossie Carter does. But, it's the phone. It has a lot going for it. Let me tone this down a little bit here. I mean, I've been extremely impressed with it. I really have. I mean, it's been great. Beautiful design too. Beautiful design. And of course, it does have Moto display, which a lot of people love and swear by. I'm one of those people. I love Moto display. Love it, love it, love it. I mean, I can't love it enough, honestly. It's the best ambient display, really, in my opinion. But yeah, it's sexy. Look how thin that is. And man, I tell you what, too, this thing feels fantastic in the hands. Ladies, you know the drill. Sorry, flossing. Had to steal it again. Just going over everything here. There's a 360 camera mod there. Booklet with your SIM ejector tool, your turbocharger. But yeah, really had to go over this with people. The Moto Z4 is a definite fantastic buy. It really is for $500. Could the price be lower? Of course it can. Absolutely. Absolutely. But, I mean, really, the only phone that you're going to get at this price point that's going to have everything this has with the Snapdragon 855 is going to be the Redmi K20 Pro. Am I going to try to get that? Absolutely. But rather I do or not, remember, the Redmi K20 Pro is not a phone that's officially, it won't be officially sold in the US. Will it work here? Oh yeah, absolutely. It ought to work better than the Pocophone F1 did. It ought to have more bands available this time around because it basically is the Pocophone F2 from what I've heard, and it's going to be in some markets anyway. But if you want everything that the Moto Z4 offers with the Snapdragon 855, the Redmi K20 Pro or the Pocophone F2, they're going to be your go-to. But again, they're not officially available in the US. So they're not going to carry the US warranty that this has, that the Nubia Red Magic 3 is going to have, that the Zenfone 6 is going to have. And you also, the K20 Pro also won't have mod capabilities, obviously. So if you're invested in the mods, this is definitely the way to go. But, I mean, it has expandable storage. It has 128 gigs internal. I mean, Snapdragon 675 gets the job done. There's only two other devices that even have that chipset. If you want to watch videos to see how well it performs, the Redmi Note 7 Pro and the Samsung Galaxy A70. But again, the Z4 is better than those. I mean, this device has been fantastic. I found myself liking it more than the Red Magic 3. It performs brilliantly. I mean, it's great. Y'all check it out. Do not sleep on this phone. Do not sleep on the 675. Motorola did their thing with this phone. I'm very impressed with it. I love it. Check y'all out in the next video. Peace.